Look at the state of me. Yes, the nice lockdown look. Right, go on.
Hold on 1 second.
What are you going to call me?
I'm going to call you all sorts. Don't worry. Look, here we go. Here we are. Look, this
Right.
is, it's recorded now. So the introduction to you. This is my pod sister at the Highbury squad, Amanda, Gooner girl, aka Princess Gooner, who sat at Highbury in the East Stand Upper for many years back in the day. How are you, Amanda?
Bored, but lovely to see you, Kev.
Listen, it's always lovely to see you. Look, this is the Who Are You series. So,
Oh.
Princess Gooner, who are you? So, let's get straight into it. Can you remember your first ever game at Highbury?
So I had a word with my dad yesterday because it was
Yeah.
his birthday, and I said to him, "What was my first game?" And he went, "He hasn't got a clue, but all he knows is, and I know, is that at 4 years old, he used to put me over the turnstile at the East End lower
Yeah.
to go upstairs. I don't remember. I sat on his lap, but so that would have been 1973. But apparently, and I think this is an urban myth, Kev, he says that I could recite the double team of 71. I would have been 3 years old or 4 years old. I think it's an urban myth, but he tells everyone that. So
Amanda, can I be honest with you? I believe him. I really believe him because,
I don't.
listen, when I remember, I met you a long time ago.
Yeah,
And you got Arsenal in your blood. You have. You
yeah.
got Arsenal in your blood. So it wouldn't surprise me, little young girl coming and being sharp on the football. You've always been sharp on the football. Amanda, who was your favourite player back then?
What, at the beginning or each decade? What do you
No, at the
want?
beginning. At the beginning, when you could.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was really weird, but I just watched you and Lee talking yesterday and I
Yeah.
finished it and it was really good. And me and Lee are so parallel on so many things. I know we're virtually the same age, but it's so weird because exactly what he said, Liam Brady and Frank Stapleton, I was distraught when Frank Stapleton went to Man United and I've never forgiven him. And Liam Brady, well, he was one of my dad's favourites. So once I started watching Brady, Chippy Brady as we called him,
Yeah.
he became my absolute idol. Then he went to Juventus. And obviously then I became like, in 1979, I was 10, so I became much more into it.
Yeah.
And then there was plenty, and Alan Sunderland for 1979's cup winning goal against United.
Hey, that made me run
But
out my house.
yeah, my mum and my dad was at the final. Just to give you a little tidbit here, my dad was at the final and my mum and dad went with all the players that night in a hotel for the after party.
Wow.
I mean, it's the only time I can ever remember him doing that. He knew someone who knew Brian Talbot.
Right.
So, and I knew Brian Talbot as well through him. And it was just amazing. But I was sitting at home, my first final where I didn't cry because I cried the year before against Ipswich,
Yeah.
with my cousins, with my little flag, and I was 10 years old. So they're the older memories. I don't remember mid-70s. I was 5 or 6, but I remember, I do remember all the stories Dad told me about sitting on his lap and stuff.
So, Amanda, what was football like back then from a female point of view? Obviously it's such a male dominated game back then. What was it like as a youngster coming through and having all these men around you and stuff like that?
It's really weird, Kev. I've never experienced sexism in football until I went on social media about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I grew up in the same area with Tottenham, Arsenal, West Ham, a few Liverpool, but mainly those. And they all knew me. So we used to talk football and I never saw it as man, woman. Never had an issue. I've always been a man's girl. I've always been a girl's girl. I don't see it like that. But when I went to Highbury, there was me and Janet, you know, Janet and Gary.
Yes, I know Janet,
Maria, who sat opposite me, I only ever heard her scream. I didn't know who she
Hear her
was.
voice, yeah, bless her.
Yeah, and maybe an odd one I'd see in the toilets. There was never a queue for the women's toilets, ever. Not like there is now. And I never saw it like that because I was always very comfortable in groups of men chatting about football. And so jumping forward to now, so when I had sexism on social media, I used to laugh. I don't really care about stuff like that, as you know. And
Listen,
there's
we're going to come to
plenty
that.
of all right, go on.
No,
You know me, I jump ahead.
No, I listen. That's why I had to get you on, because I love the way you jump, and I've got to rein you back in.
You
Got
have.
to rein you
You're
back
the
in.
host. You're
So,
the host.
Amanda, your dad, Kelvin, is a massive gooner. Please tell me your story about that incredible day in May 1989, because everybody's got a different one, haven't they? But what is your one?
They
You've got
have.
quite a unique one.
I think everyone's heard mine, but I will tell you, Kev. Right. So basically, we didn't have tickets until Tuesday afternoon of the
Right.
Friday or Monday afternoon. And I went to work and I said to my boss, I need Friday off. He said, no, it's too short notice. I was 18, 19, 18. I never know what age I was.
19, 20.
19, yeah. No, was like, 19, nearly 20. That's right.
Yeah.
I must remember that. Anyway, so he said to me, no. I said, well, no, I'm going. I mean, you're 19 years of age. I had no debts. I was living at home. I was earning loads of money. What did I care? I'd get another job.
Yeah.
I said to him, okay, we'll take my P45. I'll have my P45 then. He went, what? You'd lose your job over it. I went, listen, Arsenal could win the league. I'm not saying they will, and I don't think they will, but I have to be there to support them, and I'm going. And it was so weird for me because I had no responsibilities. So I was like, not fuck you, but you know what I mean? I was like, I'm off.
Yeah.
And he let me go. He was winding me up because he was a West Ham fan, but he wasn't really into football. and then, so anyway, my dad is, he is the biggest gooner I know. He's obsessed, Kev. It is beyond obsessed. There's so many stories about him, but I won't go into all that. So on the day he said to me, there was 7 or 8 of us going up. We've got to leave at 9 in the morning. I said, don't be so ridiculous. It doesn't kick off to 8 o'clock at night. We go down the M1, M6, or wherever it is to get there. We're not leaving at 9 o'clock in the morning. And he went, yeah, there's traffic, there's roadworks. I said, oh, behave. It's a Friday going up. We could leave at 1 o'clock and be there too early. Well, to this day, I was totally wrong. And it took us, we left at 9:45. I think we got there at 5.
Yeah.
And we were the only gooners at the surrounding part of Anfield. And we got interviewed on the 6 o'clock news with Tom Watt.
Yeah.
And we were the only gooners there. There was loads of scousers around, but and I was like, where is everyone? And honestly, it took us hours, Kev.
Yeah.
But cutting a long story short, we go in. The players, as you know, throw out flowers. Bloke in front of me gets flowers, gives them to me. I'm 19 years of age. I put him under my chair. If I'd have known, I would have brought them back. I know. It was so lovely of him to do that. It was like, oh my God. We were just so stressed, Kev, about the game.
Yeah.
And then I watched all our players go around to each section of the ground, you know.
Right, yeah.
And it was so emotional because just before the game, I went to see them. There was a little memorial because it was only 6 weeks before.
That's right.
And I remember thinking, oh, flowers under the chair, football, bring it on, right? Sorry, my thing's a bit, I've got wet hair. You can see my hair's all got a bit funny.
You've washed your hair for me. I'm privileged.
I did. I washed it, but it's got a bit funny. And you know what I'm like. So anyway, basically what happened was the game happens. In my head, I'm behind.
Amanda,
go on.
I'm just going to paint the picture for everybody. I'm going to give the last 8 games results, or 7 games results up until this game.
Yeah, I know.
So we drew 1 each with Man United away.
Yep.
Beat Everton at home 2-0.
Yep.
Beat Newcastle at home 1-0. Beat Norwich at home 5-0. Beat Middlesbrough away 1-0, and everybody thought, yeah, they're flying. Lose 2-1 at home to Derby. And then draw with Wimbledon in that week 2-2. And here's where we are. We're setting up right. So we're getting to this game.
Let me just bring you back a second. So after the Derby draw, I went on, it wasn't Talk Sport, I think it was Capital Gold Sport or whatever it was called.
Yeah.
And I ranted, Kevin, you know I can rant.
Yeah. Oh,
We've lost the league. Dean Saunders, I was on one. And I was like, I can't believe I'm going to Liverpool. Like, no, because then I didn't know, but I was mental. I was like, oh, it's done. And I think they beat West Ham 5-0 or something.
5-0.
And it was like,
5-0
oh,
in the week, yeah.
I was going to everyone, oh, it's nice. I haven't been to Liverpool before. It'd be nice to go for a day out. I was like this. But anyway, me and my dad sat together and one other, and then the rest of our lot were all dotted because the tickets were like, honestly, gold dust, as we all know. I'm still convinced I'm behind the goal. But my dad said we weren't. We were to the side of it, right? Because but I was literally, because I remember Mickey coming through. So when he came through, when Alan Smith scores and we go absolutely
ballistic, yeah.
I'm then looking at the referee going, what the hell? Why are they complaining? There's no replays. There's no smartphones in 1989. And this is a true story. Mickey Thomas comes through and he misses. And I'm like, can we go?
About
I said
10
to my
minutes
dad,
before that, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I said, you know what? I think we should go. That traffic, I don't want to sit for 7 hours on the way home. And I'm like this. I am a stroppy teenager. Not much has changed. And my dad looked at me, honestly, Kev, he went like this. He went, no, we're not going anywhere. I went, okay.
Smart.
Well,
man.
If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have seen it. And then it is like the 89 film. It is slow motion. I can see because they're coming towards us. And I'm watching, going, I don't know what John Barnes was doing. I never will. And I'd love to meet him one day because I'd love to ask why he did not just keep the ball instead of playing. Because if this was you, I'd be killing you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I know you would.
Oh, yeah, I would. And then, so Dixon gets the ball and then it just come charging forward. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Thomas is in front of goal. And I don't think I've ever experienced that feeling before, because it's so quick. And we interviewed Stevie Nicol on our pod, and I asked him, I said, why didn't you just take him out? And he said to me, he was too fast. It's too quick. And I was like, oh, whatever. Anyway, so he comes charging through. He goes, I don't remember. And I honestly, Kev, until we're all going mental, but then me, because being a worrier, going, but we could have 5 minutes left. We don't know how long's left. I don't know anything. We've got no phones, nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I was lifted up by the bloke in front of me. I was being kissed. I was dressed in blue and yellow because I was 19. Yeah. And I remember the whistle going and I didn't know what to do. I thought, oh my fucking God, we've won it. We've won the league. We've won the league.
Love it,
my dad, I don't know where he's gone. And then we stayed to the very last moments. Listen, there was no Sky then. It was on for 10 minutes. We'd have been on for 10 hours on Sky,
without
wouldn't
a doubt.
we?
Yeah. Oh, you
Most
know what?
amazing football night of my life.
But you know what? As you're explaining that, I'm right there with you.
I know you, and you are there.
Because if you remember, Amanda, the players who weren't actually, there was only 2 subs. So the players who weren't there, myself, Paul Davis, some of the other lads, Alan Miller, all that, we were sat with the Arsenal fans behind the goal.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
And with about 5 minutes to go, we get led behind the goal
now
and
I
we
saw
walk
that.
round.
Yeah, no, I remember that now, yeah.
Well, let me just tell you, when Mickey Thomas scored, I lost it. I was running on the pitch, but I got collared by the police. And they thought, yeah, but I don't know, any video you see, you actually see legs at the left-hand side.
Yes.
Actually, that's me getting stopped by coppers. Me getting stopped by the police.
They didn't know who you were.
They didn't know me from Adam, would they? Not in Liverpool. But obviously, Pat Rice and all them had to say, no, he's with us. He's with Arsenal. So luckily, I nearly got lifted.
Honestly, Kev, we could do a whole show on this just alone.
I know
I've got so many more stories, but we need to move on.
We'll do that again. Listen, so moving on, please tell me your match day experience at Highbury for a 3 o'clock. How did it go?
So totally different to now, and it was so much more special. Me and my cousin and my dad would drive. He would moan about how much traffic there was. We won't get a seat in the cafe. Then we'd get to the cafe. Then we'd have to eat. And
which cafe?
We never went.
Was it the Arsenal Caf?
No, it was. Oh my God! There's been so many different ones because of parking. The Angel Cafe, I think, near the Arsenal Tavern. I think it's called the Arsenal Tavern. I didn't go to any pubs until
Yeah.
Twitter arrived, and then
Right.
all of a sudden I was invited out everywhere. Yeah, the Angel Cafe, but there was other ones before, Kev. I can't remember.
Yeah.
And then we'd walk to Highbury. We'd walk past the Gunners pub all the way down
Yeah.
because we used to park down there very early on, double parked. So it's all different. And then we'd go and stand opposite the Marble Hall on the corner.
That's right.
Wait for the coach.
Yep.
And then all our friends, mainly men, and actually I'm still in contact with quite a few of them. We used to congregate and just moan about everything, like just Arsenal. And then I'd run over to the steps to try and look at you lot getting off the coach. It was very different to how it is now. Now we don't congregate anywhere. There's nowhere everyone stands. You just walk around and try and meet some people. And then obviously I would always go in. I can't remember if I went in before my dad. I'd go and see a few people I knew. I'd like to watch you lot train. Yeah. I was in row 7, so I had the best seats, honestly, not to what I've got now. And then it would be half time. I'd go and meet. Different. And then we'd climb over all the chairs to get out and then go home. I never went socialising. I had a very active social life anyway, but weirdly, because of my affinity to that part of London, I was an Essex girl. Yeah. I always went nightclubbing in Camden Town and Tottenham, in the areas of North London, because I knew my way. I knew it. I knew the people.
Yeah, you were comfortable.
Yeah.
So, Amanda, did you travel home and away at that time? And if not, what was the game like? What was your day like? What was game day like? So if you didn't travel away, what was game day like?
Yeah. I did travel away, not as much as I've done in the last 10 years, funny enough, but I did travel away, but not to the extent I've done. And it was always London games, really. I went to Coventry once and we all got lost coming home, which is quite funny. I used to go on the away. Actually, no, I did actually. I used to go to Aston Villa away on the supporters train.
Yeah.
But it was a bit more violent, and I'm really not into that. And I think that as I got a bit older, 23, 24, I met my then husband, and I couldn't afford to go to away games. I wasn't, but when I separated from my husband and I had a different life, I was travelling I've seen you in Manchester, I've been to Liverpool. I go all over. I love it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everyone's game day is different. I used to get really excited about Wednesday. I'd be going, oh yeah, I've got football to look forward to Saturday. Yeah. Because it was always Saturday. It wasn't Friday night, Sunday afternoon, Monday, occasionally Sunday, but it wasn't. It was Saturday. So I loved it. I didn't like it when it was away, if I wasn't going, because we'd have to listen to it on the radio.
So what was that like? You know, when you're home,
not easy.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Oh my God. You know what? Considering my dad's the biggest worry on the planet and I'm probably not far behind him, the stress in my poor mother who comes from a Tottenham family, I'll talk about that later, and you know, just hates football. She's just not into it. She'd have to put up with it. It's my dad's, it's our religion, basically.
Yeah, lovely. So Amanda, what's your take on Arsenal at the Emirates right now? You know, we got sold a dream kind of leaving Highbury, didn't we? What's your take on Arsenal at the Emirates?
Well, it's like, I suppose in a way, it's like a divorce and meeting someone else in a way. If your first marriage was wonderful and your second, or the other way round, I suppose, really. If one of the marriages wasn't good and one of it was okay, it's not great. It's not the same. And it's very hard for anyone that hasn't been to Highbury year in, year out to understand what it was like there. Players as yourself who played there, but players who played there in the Emirates said they couldn't make that switch. It wasn't easy for them. I think Fabregas in his interview actually said he preferred the Emirates, but maybe because he's not English. I don't know. But for me, there's no comparison. If I could go back to Highbury tomorrow, let me tell you, I'd go back to Highbury tomorrow.
I would. I would. I think the Emirates is a super stadium. But
it's okay. It's very cold. It's soulless, bowlless. That's what they call it, don't they? They call it the soulless bowl or something. But it's just grey. Everything's quite grey. They need to. One of the things I think is very important is standing. If you started to get that back, safe standing everywhere, every ground, I think football would change.
Well, we're actually, I'm great that you mentioned that, but we're gonna get to that because I think that might
Sorry.
be that. No, that's fine because I think that might be one of your that related to another question. What do you think, Amanda, are the main differences between Highbury days and modern day Arsenal? I know you've touched on a couple of bits there, but what do you think are the main differences that you find?
Well, one of the differences is Avenel Road for a start, because when you lot went in the changing rooms, I've got pictures of Ian Wright and Tony Adams coming out going like this, and all of you, you know, and you'd get a glimpse of somebody, and the marble halls was special. Now you're so far away from the players. You know, the only time I've ever seen any of the players really is when I've been in the Tollington and they drive past, and you get a glimpse of
Yeah,
someone. I feel distant from them. The older ones, not so much, like you lot.
yeah,
As you know, I still speak to Smudge on Twitter, and we have relationships with people that we bring on our podcast and stuff. And I'm more connected to you lot, but I love and young players coming through, Martinelli, Saka. So it's just a different experience. That's
yeah.
all. It's
Well,
just different.
do you know what I used to love about Avenel Road, where even when the teams are in, you used to get ex-players and managers
Yeah.
walking up
Yeah.
the street, and they'd stand with you, they'll sign autographs, all of that type of thing. They'll speak to people. I thought that was such a unique thing. I know now you hardly ever get a chance to connect with the players because you never really see them. So I know
No,
that's difficult.
never.
So Amanda, you have been active on social media for a long time. How do you handle it and cope as Gooner Girl?
Um, well, I was told to go on Twitter by a friend of mine and said, "Oh, you'll love the Arsenal banter." And I said, "Well, why would anyone want to talk to me about football?" I didn't really understand Twitter. I just thought it was full of famous people, and
Yeah,
I'm not really into that. So I was like, okay. And as I went on, I quite laughed, and then it just built from there. And the thing is, Kev, you know me pretty well. I'm no different. I work. I'm exactly the same. I'm out with friends, family, talking football. I am me. I don't have two personas. So I learned a lot quite quickly that I couldn't be as honest sometimes, because all of a sudden keyboard warriors would go for you.
yeah,
And I felt a bit intimidated. And then when I started to get more and more, like, say, 4,000 or 5,000 followers, I was like, why are 4,000 or 5,000 people following me?
yeah,
What the bloody hell? But because I'm me, yeah, some people love me, some people don't, and that's fine. What I wouldn't stand for is sexism. Obviously, I'd stand up for anyone. And
yeah,
the way I handle it, Kev, is complete sarcasm. I don't go for you. I just take the piss out of you and walk away, because that is the best way to handle it. Because certain people don't have lives and they want to come for you. And I don't really get that, because I was brought up in a world of, if you can't say something nice, don't bother saying anything at all. You
yeah,
can have a laugh. We all have a laugh. But I'm Jewish, and when I saw a lot of anti-Semitism, I walked away from it because I was quite nervous. And then one day I thought, fuck it, no way.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
put that I was Jewish on my profile, put a Star of David. And yeah, I got a lot of anti-Semitism. I dealt with it, but I don't get it anymore. I have not had that in such a long time. But as my Twitter following grew, then I was asked to do podcasts, and then obviously it got bigger. And then Arsenal Fan TV asked me to do some stuff.
yeah,
Before they were who they are
yeah,
now, they were just starting out, and I did lots of things with them, and my following just went zoom like that. And I didn't really understand why 10,000 people wanted to follow me, or 20,000. It's even more now. And I find it fascinating, but I enjoy connecting, tweeting with people that are funny. I couldn't care less if you got 3 followers or 3,000. I don't really care. It's not about that. It's about my connection with another Arsenal fan and rival fans. I've got the
yeah.
best rival fans ever. I love them. I absolutely have a brilliant time. And I've got a lot of women. I love following women on there. I just champion women. But I
Hey, by the
handle it
way,
in a way.
Amanda, it's women all around the world as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's all countries. I've got a massive following in India and Africa, and it's fantastic. The American Gooners are just, I flipping love them. There's millions of them. I love them. So I was always championing them when people were saying you can't support Arsenal if you live in another
Yeah.
country. I can't even stand. I just deal with that straight away. But no one. I've only had obviously one quite bad experience on there that's been dealt with, and it's done and it's over hopefully. But it's not something that bothers me. I'll walk away. I don't need to. I like doing charitable stuff on there. I like helping. I love social media. It's something that's part of my life.
Fantastic, Amanda. Well, look, we're on number 10 now. And if you could change three things at the Arsenal, what would they be?
um Stan Kroenke,
Right, one. I think
the
many people will
Emirates.
agree with you on that one.
The Emirates back to Highbury. And as I said, standing, because I miss atmosphere. I wouldn't stand. I did in the
Yeah.
North Bank. I've done it quite a few times, not hundreds, probably about 20 times in my lifetime, and I loved it. But I'm a sit down girl. I love watching the football. I don't need to stand up. But the atmosphere is so different. When we go to away games and we're up the whole game, I love it, actually. I really enjoy it. And I think that is what needs to be brought back to football, is the safe standing. It's really weird because away fans, and Lee was saying this, stand up.
Yeah.
But home fans, God, if I stand up for 1 second, I'm sort of sit down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand, because I often do it when people stand up in front of me and the game's going on. Listen, this is seats. I want to sit down. I'm a sort of person like that. I like to watch the game. But we need it for atmosphere, Kev. We really do.
I agree with you, Amanda, because you know what? I look at the Premier League all around the world, and the Premier League is the biggest league in the world. But they don't even realize what a spectacle it would be if there were standing areas, because the atmosphere would just be so much better. So that's one thing I would love Arsenal to champion for, because
Well,
of
also,
go on.
to be fair to them, though, Kev, the Premier League wouldn't, because they came in after standing had gone. So they don't know any different. To them, if you're not of our age, yeah, and if you're a 25, 30-year-old executive at Sky, you don't know nothing about standing. So I just think that it needs to be done, and also you get more fans in, and also be cheaper.
Well, that's the point I was going to make, especially with
Yeah,
what's going on now.
yeah,
Obviously the financial implications of this are going to hit a lot of fans hard. So
yeah.
there should be cheaper ways out to watch the game as well. So fingers crossed we could get that across the line, and we could get even better atmosphere, more like Highbury at the Emirates. Amanda, I've got to
Oh,
thank you for your time, my darling.
oh, you're welcome. I love you.
And look, this is part one, so there's going to be many more, because in 10 questions, I can't cover all of
No,
you. This could
no.
be like 1,500. But
And you know what it is? We've got so many Highbury stories. You as a player and me as a fan,
yes,
that there's so much. I mean, there's so many things. You don't even know that I played on your pitch once. There's on Highbury. So
right.
there's so many things. So
Well, I'm
we
going
will
to ask you
save
that
it.
next time. I'm going to ask you that next time. Definitely.
We'll save it.
All right, my
Ah,
darling. Listen, Princess Gooner, thank you for being on Who Are You? And we're going to see you next time.
bye.